Pastor Brian, First United Methodist Church, Fox Hill. I have a previous video that talks about the plan. Now I want to talk to you about the why and what it means. So the general plan for worship going forward is that beginning March 28th, which is Palm Sunday, we'll be having worship at 10 o'clock a.m. on Sunday mornings. Going to one service, we're going with the 10 o'clock time because when we had fifth Sundays, we typically did 10:30. We recognize, or at least I recognize, that's a little late for people that like that 8:30 time. And moving forward 1 hour shouldn't make too much of a difference for the people that like the 11 o'clock time. So 10 o'clock is a compromise. Sunday schools are moving up and down wherever they'd like to move to accommodate their members. So that's what we're looking for. That begins March 28th and that continues till May-ish. And so let me explain why, and then let's explain that May-ish part. So the why is simply this, that as we've been not shut down, but as we've been in a reduced capacity since we haven't been worshiping in the sanctuary, we don't know, at least I don't know, how much support we have to do two services at this point. I think it's there, but I'm not sure it's there. But in the meantime, I do have a concern about burning people out, especially with all the stresses that come with restarting and so forth. So this simplifies things. It also simplifies things for me, and the reason for simplifying it for me is because I've got some things I'm working on in the background that are coming up next. The other part is by having a single service, we can get to a literal unity as a church body, but I'm seeking a spiritual unity, particularly around our mission. Now, you might think of mission in terms of a missionary, somebody who goes and serves God somewhere else, but truly the mission is the mission of the church to make disciples of all nations. Each church has a different part to play in making disciples, and I would like us to have those conversations about who are the disciples we are being called to make now. To whom do we reach out? For instance, we know if you live around this neighborhood, and many of you do, you know there are a bunch of kids around here. There are a bunch of people that live around here. Some of them are going to church, but many of them are not. That's just the reality anywhere you go in the States, pretty much anywhere in the world. So who can we reach? And who has God placed in our hearts to reach? And how? That's all part of those mission conversations. I don't expect a great big balloon to be burst in front of our eyes, although God may choose to do that, and that would be wonderful. But I do want us to have conversations and prepare the ground for what God's bringing next. And this is what I'm doing in the background to help prepare the ground. We're going to be having some prayer services, some prayer times, some meetings perhaps. Probably not a lot of meetings, but some prayer time, dedicated prayer time, as staff, as individuals, as a church congregation, to help move us in that direction, along with the discernment that follows from it. In addition, those that are on board to begin something new are Larissa particularly, but myself and others will be talking and working towards a plan. One of the things I realized in the past several years when we began making changes to 11 to make it more of a missional service is that we really didn't take a whole lot of time to think about how to reach people, how to advertise, how to market, all those things. And that's what I want to give more time to doing in this time of unity and giving myself a little bit more space. Now, there are a few breakoff points here. I want to bring those up to you so that you kind of have them in your mind and you can be aware of them. And this all has to do with that May-ish time frame. So the first and the simplest breakoff point is a number, 150. Once we are consistently reaching about 150 people in our sanctuary, remember, well, for those of you who've heard, we have 77 spots in the sanctuary for people to sit. Many of them can take more than one person. A good number of them can take up to 4, and we can still maintain that 6-foot distancing. But generally speaking, if we start reaching 150 people, we need to make a plan to have another service. When that service is going to be may be determined by the mission, but I hope we'll have other conversations. I'm thinking we'll probably go to an 8:30, 11, or possibly a 9, 11, something like that. Something similar to what we had before, simply because it makes a lot of sense, but that's not set yet. The second point would be another number, 25 multipliers. Now, those of you who are English students know that's not a real word, at least in the sense I'm using it, but notice the quotes. The idea is this, and in order to get something started with a good foundation, I would like to have 25 of our congregation in between this March 28th and the question mark May-ish date, who come forward to say, I would like to be a multiplier. And that means that they would support the new service, they would be there, they would be present, and they would seek to, in the course of about 6 months, it doesn't have to be exactly 6 months, multiply themselves. That is, 2 people to replace the single person. Now, they don't have to work individually, and it would be better if they didn't. But the goal would be then that 50 people would grow from the 25. Not everybody's called to an evangelistic kind of ministry, but some people are. And I believe we may have 25 people who at least want to be part of a team to see this take place. And that would be a concrete plan. The other part of it is the background plan, you know, how we're planning to reach people and so forth and so on. By the way, there is a part B, and I would like to get 25 more for whatever becomes the first service, whether it's 8:39 or whatever, because I think it's important that we don't separate these two groups of people. We will be one church. Remember, unity was part of the goal. We will be one church. We may be different from each other. We may meet at different times, but we will still be one church. And I want that same spirit of reaching out to pervade everything that we do. So while I'm focused on what I'm calling the second service right now, I want us to also focus on the mission of our first, because I believe there is a mission. There is a place for what we call traditional worship. There is a place for the people that we have and the people that we have that we reach already. I don't want us to lose that. So I want to get this happening first for the later service, but I also want it to happen at the first service. The other jumping off point would be some mythical place that we don't have a date for, when we can begin singing in the sanctuary, even with mask on, when we are more free to do the things that we used to do, laying on of hands, whatever it happens to be, when we can have communion together. And so that would be another point at which that May-ish date would be grabbed hold of. And I don't know what that date is. July 4th may be a possibility. It may come before that. It may come after that. But these are the 3 sorts of things I'm looking for. But in the meantime, keep in mind this idea of unity around our purpose and around our mission. And the fact that, A, we don't want to lose anybody we have reached through the years, and B, we know that God has a plan for us, and we want to find that plan together. Thank you for being part of our congregation, and I hope if you have any questions, you let me know, have conversations with me, and so forth. We'll see you soon, hopefully on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, or if you're coming this weekend, March 21st at 8:30. Take care of yourselves.